fats and oils. So in our previous classes, we have discussed what are the fats, what are the oils, and how these fats and oils can be uh, seen in our natural life. So in our daily routine life. So that we have seen in our last classes. We have covered that these fats are naturally a kind of substances which are biomolecules. So varieties of biomolecules are known such as carbohydrate, proteins, lipids, etc., etc. So all these are basically a kind of carbo or biomolecules which are dealing with the life. Bios mean the lives and molecules which are made up of either atoms and combinations. So that is what is called the molecules. So it can be these lipids and fats as well. We have classified last time that lipids are the kinds of substances which are generally fats if we consider, then those are solid at room temperature, and oil substances are generally they are liquid at the room temperature. So this is what we have discussed in the last class, and we have seen that these are the fats are basically carboxylic acid ester derivatives which are uh, carboxylic ester of these glycerols. So glycerol is basically trihydroxy propane, which is called triol. So propane 1,2,3 triol. That glycerol is generally this is one of the substance which is majorly present in such kind of uh, fats, right? And they are termed as depending upon these alkyl groups, they are classified as triglycerides. So if two fatty acids are present, then they are termed as biglycerides. If only one is present, then it is called as monoglycerides. And if three alcohol alkyl chains of these carboxylic acids or fatty acids, if they are present, then it is termed as triglyceride. Fine. So these are the three of the triglycerides, and then we have seen several reactions for these fats and oils. That reactions is one of the property of these fats and oils, and in which we have seen hydrolysis. So breakdown using a water molecule, that is called as hydrolysis. So this hydrolysis is generally of such kind of glyceride, which is upon if it is treated with sodium hydroxide. In another words, it is called as caustic soda. So if we treat this glyceride with the help of sodium hydroxide, then it will form this glycerol and the SOP. So SOP is basically R1, this sodium salt of carboxylic acids, and hydrolysis of fatty acids can make us helpful to make such SOP. And the process for formation of the SOP, that is termed as saponification. As itself indicates, saponification is a process which produces the SOP. So this sodium SOP that is generally called as hard kind of the SOP, but if this sodium SOP is made up of certain, let us say, potassium ions, then it is termed as this basically potassium salt of carboxylate and ions, which are called as soft SOP. Okay, so two types of the soap are known. This is not the soap which we used to use for our daily purposes, but this is for sodium salts of carboxylic acid or alkali salts of carboxylic acid. So sodium and potassium are generally termed as alkaline metals. Then we have seen that soap is generally having two kinds of composition. One of them is called as the head, other is called as a tail. Head is polar in nature because it consists of carboxylic acid, and tail is non-polar in nature because it consists of this long chain alkyl group. And thus it is amphiphilic in nature. It consists of both the kinds of the nature, hydrophilic as well as lipophilic. So polar head is hydrophilic in nature, and this non-polar head is basically lipophilic. So this is a kind of example where the soaps solutions, carboxylate salts are generally can be classified. Next, after this, we have also seen the hydrolysis. Hydrolysis of this soap, which can give rise to the formation of the micelles. What are the micelles? So that we also discussed in our last class. We could discuss that micelles are generally made up of so many kinds of micellar molecules. The molecule which you can see like this, that is one of the example of micelles, and it consists of this hydrophilic functional group and lipophilic functional group. Hydrophilic functional group which will remain towards the outside, and hydrophobic one, in other words, hydrophobic is called as lipophilic. So these lipophilic molecules which will remain present inside of this, so that's why it is termed as micelle. So as you can see here, this is basically a kind of example, a transverse section of a micellar solution, which is of micellars, micelles. In the water medium, it has been shown. So you can see that this outer part that is lying outside, but this inside cavity, which is a core cavity, that is composed of this. So hydrolysis is one of the property. Let me tell you, hydrolysis means not the breakdown of water. In fact, it involves the breakdown of water, but hydrolysis truly means breakdown using water. Right? Then, second property of such kinds of lipids and oils, that is hydrogenation. Hydrogenation is the key property of alkenes or olefins or carbon-carbon double bond containing compounds. Carbon-carbon double bond containing compounds, olefins, if they are subjected to hydrogenation for hydrogen gas, then this carbon-carbon double bond that will get reduced to carbon this alkane. So thus, now in platinum, and basically this hydrogenation is not an easy process. It's much difficult. Why? Because this hydrogen is a gas, alkene is a solid, or maybe liquid, or it may be gaseous. So it is much difficult to react a gaseous molecules with other gaseous molecules or other liquid material, or sometimes reaction of hydrogen gas with solid. Okay. So this is generally achieved with the help of specific instrument, what is called this PAR hydrogenator. So PAR hydrogenator is an important device for this kind of hydrogenation purpose, and it can be used for hydrogen gas. Naturally, there is abundant amount of hydrogen is present in the atmosphere, and if we want to use such hydrogen gas, then it is available in cylinders, just like oxygen gas. During this pandemic, you might have heard that some patients who are having difficulty in breathing, they are taking the help of oxygen cylinders for their purpose. Okay, so that oxygen cylinders are also available for this. So hydrogenation is not easy process, but that is made easy through the kinds of catalyst. This catalyst can be platinum, palladium, nickel, rhodium, and so on. So these costly metals, platinum, that is a more costly metal, even more costly than gold or even than silver. So that is used for this hydrogenation purpose. Okay. And here, a type of hydrogenation is called as synhydrogenation. So what is synhydrogenation? Synhydrogenation is basically SYN type of hydrogenation. And that is useful for the purpose of such kind of hydrogenation. So that both the in synhydrogenation, both the hydrogen molecules, both the hydrogen atoms are transferred across the carbon-carbon double bond through its common side. This is what is called hydrogen. Then another type of hydrogenation is termed as partial hydrogenation, complete hydrogenation. तो जैसा नाम वैसा काम. Partial hydrogenation is for partial hydrogenation of alkenes. Let, let me tell you, if some alkene is that is having 10 double bonds, we process its hydrogenation, then only 5 of this may undergo uh, hydrogenation, and I will not undergo this. So this is basically called as kind of partial hydrogenation. Complete hydrogenation means if we have our fatty acid that is having 10 double bonds, then after hydrogenation, all the 10 double bonds will undergo this kind of process, this kind of hydrogenation. So that is called complete hydrogenation. Okay. So this can give us some different kind of product, and for which complete hydrogenation is used. Okay. That this another example which is on your screen. Last just I have discussed with you this linoleic acid, which is hydrogenated in the presence of nickel, so it can produce oleic acid, which is liquid in nature. As you can see here, there is a bottle which is having oleic acid, and this is stearic acid, which is composed of another this solid substances. So stearic acid is in general solid in nature, and oleic acid is liquid. So I hope that this example is now clear to you regarding. Then we also discussed several properties of fats and oils. That rancidity of the oils. This is what is called as deterioration of fats and oils because of hydrolysis, because of oxidation, or because of the attack of either air, moisture, or bacterial infection. Because of this, it will undergo change in its regular taste and odor. And this is also called rancidity. Right? So main reason for rancidity is oxidative rancidification and hydrolytic rancidification. Of oxidation means it can undergo oxidation. So in a moment, if we forget to if close the bottle or close the cap of the bottle much tightly, and if we do not close it properly, uh, tightly, then there is a risk that it will undergo oxidation. Because of that, it will undergo deterioration, or it may undergo change in the taste. Okay, जब कभी हमें जैसे बहुत पुराना हो जाता है this kind of oils or fats, and if we taste it, we will feel that its taste is something odd, something different. That is so called as such kind of densification. Hydrolytic densification, that is because of the moisture. So because of the moisture, it can undergo hydrolytic or densification. Drying of the oils is another property, because so many types of the oils are known. Some of the oils which are made up of, let us say, lemongrass oil, lemongrass peel oil, which is obtained from the peels of the lemongrass. So that is also kind of oil, and if you want to preserve that oil, drying of the oil is required. Remove the moisture, remove somehow peroxide. So as you can see on the screen, that if an oil which comes in contact with oxygen, it will make such peroxides. So you can use metals, cobalt, which is a cheap metal, and that can be used to remove this oxygen and dry. Now, from here up to this, we have covered in our previous session, previous lecture. This lecture is highly going to dedicate requirements of certain parameters which are essential for drying of the oils, or which are essential to uh, determine the quality of the oil. And this is much difficult because आजकल क्या होता है कि people are doing lot of competition even for the purpose of marketing for the big materials of foods or packages. Now how? Let me tell you, if I go to the market and I wish to buy a pure cow ghee, but there will be different prices of the cow ghee in different shops. I go to Amul, it will be different. I go to local shops, it will be different. I go to some homemade products, it will be further different. And quality is also different. Some people will be doing, maybe they are adding some spurious materials into that. इसमें गाय के दूध के बदले शायद बकरी का दूध भी मिला देते हो. So that kind of adulteration is also possible. Okay. And I go to shops, then some vendors are really honest, and they used to sell pure cow ghee. So point is to discuss here that this is the example of ghee, but may be different for the butter. Whatever the quality of the butter is available with Amul, so that may be different from Nutralite butter. Although both are the butters, we have different qualities. One is made up of fat, the highest quality, other is colors are also different. One is colorless. Amul का जो butter होता है, that is colorless, but Nutralite yellowish. Okay, so that is a kind of fats exist at solid in room temperature. So how we come to know that particular oil is of no spurious quality? What are the parameters? So these are the parameters, analytical constants which are on your screen that will help us to identify, to learn the acid numbers or to learn the quality of these oils, the fats. Okay. Acid number itself it indicates it is a kind of number for the acids, but in fact it is not. Might have performed certain experimentation in your organic chemistry for calculations of acid number and for calculations of this saponification value. This is the same parameters which we are going to discuss in your class. What is an acid number? By definition, it means number of milligram of potassium hydroxide required to completely neutralize the free fatty acids present in 1 gram of fat or oil. This is called as saponification number, acid number. So we will come to this, that how it is differ from saponification number. So here how many, what we are utilizing? Milligram of KOH, potassium hydroxide, although I'm sorry, below it is mentioned NaOH, so here it should be KOH, it should not be NaOH. So if we are treating with sodium hydroxide, then we will get potassium hydroxide, then we will get potassium salt. So this is a mistake. Okay, so milligram number of KOH required to neutralize free fatty acids. Free fatty acid means this carboxylic acid is free. It's not carboxylate ester. If it is carboxylate ester, then we cannot call it as free fatty acid. It is alkylated acid. Okay, so free fatty acid means this carboxylic acid is free, COOH. This cannot be called as free fatty acid because it is salt of carboxylic acid. So 1 gram of whatever the free fatty acids present in 1 gram of fat or 1 gram of oil completely neutralize process, which is neutralization process. Neutralization means reaction of H plus, OH minus to form water. Here this is also H plus. Can you see? Carboxylic acid contains H plus. OH minus is present in your potassium hydroxide. So both H plus and OH minus react and will form water. Although water is not there on the reaction, you have to assume, that water is released to this salt formation reaction. And it is a kind of measure of free fatty acids present in fat और कितना लिया लेना है only 1 gram 1000 milligram 1 gram is for acid. And इसीलिए this is the process of neutralization. That's why it is termed as neutralization number or also called as acid value. So that's why it is a kind of measure for this and can be used for the purpose of our study. So normally refined oils should be free from any kind of fatty acids, and such kind of oils on decomposition, either due to chemical or bacterial contamination, they may yield free fatty acids. So this we can take their advantage. So decompose oil hoga, so decompose fat hoga. Because of bacterial contamination, higher amount of free fatty acids will be present in them. And उसलिए decomposed fatty acids will have higher acid number. And if we analyze certain fatty acids which are having higher acid number, so these fatty acids should not be taken for the purpose of our food preparation or for the they are not edible oils. Edible oils means the food material which we can eat. So edible oils are used in our daily foods. That's higher. That's why the oils which are having higher acid numbers should not be taken for the purpose of our. So this is basically this is a process. Like how should we calculate acid number in continuation of our previous slide? And it is basically acid value, which is determined by direct titration of so and so in alcoholic medium. Alcoholic medium for the purpose of our solution, for the purpose of solubilization. And it can be potassium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide, both we can take because both are alkali hydroxide salts or alkaline alkalis, so they can be taken. The base. So procedure is mentioned that we have to take 10 gram of the sample, then we will dissolve it with 50 ml of alcohol, 95% alcohol and ether, and it is going to be titrated with the help of 0.1 molar potassium hydroxide using phenolphthalein as indicator. Okay, so this is in continuation of that process. We will not touch how to prepare 0.1 molar potassium hydroxide, but this is there, and we can. This N is a burette reading, W is a weight of the sample. So if we divide 5.61 into burette reading divided by 10 gram, which we have taken, so we will get acid. And itself, it is mentioned here that oils with extraordinary acid number increase acid values are unsafe for human consumption. Okay, so whatever the oils you are purchasing, जैसे आप sunflower oil ले लो या फिर saffron सफोला का जो oil जो आता है, so you go to the market, purchase such oils, or from your kitchens if you see the bottles of this, then you will be able to observe such oils have certain labels. Those label में all these things are mentioned. What is called acid number, what is called saponification number, RM value. So these are mentioned there. Okay. And if it is extra beyond certain value, so that is are not particularly good to be uh, good to eat. This visible basically uh, this uh, extraordinary oils, they extra oils with extraordinary or increased acid numbers should not be taken for the purpose of our. So in this context, this acid number is really kind of significant, right? So next is saponification. Friends, this saponification number, that is little different from acid number. It is also a kind of neutralization process. It is also kind of neutralization behavior. Right? It is also called as this Cort-Stoffer number. This is a Cort-Stoffer number, or it is called as saponification number. By definition, it is the number of milligram of KOH required to saponify. Find the difference. Acid number, it was the term to neutralize. In saponification, it is the term saponify. Saponify means again it is a kind of soap formation. You know what is called soap, and you know what is called saponification. So this is completely different from the neutralization way, and that may mean as okay. So this is the number of milligrams of KOH required to saponify 1 gram of fat or oil, and that is what is called by definition we can calculate the molecular weight. So from that, this is a kind of measurement for average molecular weight of. If we come to know that, or vice versa भी हो सकता है, that if we know their molecular weight and this we milligram of KOH through experimental procedure, then we can calculate this saponification. Okay, so higher the saponification number, lower its molecular weight. So it naturally from equation we can see that molecular weight and saponification number both are exactly opposite. Then several constants are known. So among these, it is this is a process that how we can go ahead for calculation of saponification. So saponification is a process by which fatty acids in the triglycerides or fats which are hydrolyzed by the alkali to give the glycerol and potassium salts of fatty acids. Known quantity of fat or oil that is reflux with excess amount of alcoholic fuels. And after that, saponification of remaining KOH is estimated by titrating the standard acid. So that way we can use for estimation of saponification. And this is basically a sample is treated by 0.5 molar HCl, the back titration, back reading. Then we have to perform the blank reading, that is B reading, and we have to subtract this back reading, blank reading from and back. So B minus A multiplied by 28.05 divided by the weight of the fats or oil taken. That will enable this constant calculation of this saponification. So what is the difference in acid value and saponification number? In acid value, there was the term what is called neutralization of free fatty acid. In this saponification number, it is to perform saponification. This may be 1 gram of fat or oil, but here is also 1 gram of fat or oil. In that case, we can use NaOH or KOH. Here it is also NaOH or KOH. And here, basically milligram of KOH, similarly here is also. Difference is only that last was neutralization. This one is saponification. Practical calculations are also different. Herein we are using 0.5 molar HCl for the titration purpose, which is treated with some amount of alcoholic KOH. Okay. And here there is only 0.1 molar KOH. There is no requirement of back titration. But saponification number is a kind of. This is the difference between acid number and saponification. Let me repeat this difference. Both are, the uniqueness is both is for 1 gram of fat or oil. Both utilizes milligram number of KOH. This is uniqueness. Difference are acid number is for neutralization. Neutralization is simple. Acid reacts with base and form the salt. Saponification is different. Saponification means acid or carboxylic acid, base, potassium hydroxide, reacts with each other to form SOP, alkaline salts of carboxylic acid. That is, the processes are different. Calculation wise, both are different. Acid number, there is no requirement of 0.5 molar HCl. But for saponification number, we have to perform back titration. We will perform back reading, and we will perform a reading without taking the sample. And then we will subtract this back minus blank. It will give us this saponification. Okay. So significance is that just for saponification number, higher the number of saponification number, higher will be the, lower will be the molecular weight. And length of the carbon chain, which is can be identified from this, because we know that saponification number jitna zyada hoga, so alkyl chain will be short. If alkyl chain is very long, saponification number will be smaller. This way, we can very easily distinguish what is called what is called molecular weight. Molecular weights can be easily identified through this process. Okay. So, friends, this is the message basically which I want to share with you regarding this significance of saponification. Okay. So, after average molecular weight, higher the molecular weight of the fat, the smaller will be the saponification. So, two factors, two parameters which we have seen. The third parameter is iodine number. Iodine number is basically we are taking the advantage of addition characteristics of alkenes. Alkenes can undergo addition reaction, such as if we have this kind of carbon-carbon double bond treated with iodine. So both the iodines which will be added to 1,2 positions. This is called as iodine iodination, addition of iodine. What is the definition? Definition wise, it means gram of iodine. Now remember, previously it was milligram. This is gram. You must know the difference between the definitions. Otherwise क्या होगा कि वो in the end you will forget कि यहाँ पे आयोडीन नंबर की डेफिनेशन आपको पूछी जाएगी और you will be telling milligram number of iodine. So you must know where milligram number is there, where gram is iodine number is there. So gram number of iodine, you can call it number of grams of iodine or gram number, both are same. Just like this, आप पिछली बार आप बोलते थे milligram number, gram number. So number of iodine that we'll use to which would add to carbon-carbon double bond present in, now it is 100 gram of fat. You see the difference in between the definitions. Last two definitions, it was milligram number of iodine. In this one, it is 100 gram. 100 gram of the fat, 100 gram of the oil. Okay. So this is basically fat which is iodinated to synthesize 1,2-diiodo alkanes. And it is used, this is the procedure for the same iodine number. Dictionary, the synonym of iodine number is iodine value. Okay, so this principally it is defined as oil and fat sample taken in carbon tetrachloride, and excess of the same is treated with iodine monochloride solution, glacial acetic acid. Okay, so this is the process. Glacial acetic acid. We must have to understand why glacial acetic acid is termed as glacial. Friends, what happens that same question is asked by many of the faculties or which are present in interview panel. जब आपका बी फार्म एम फार्म खत्म हो जाएगा और आप जॉब के लिए जाओगे तो पहला क्वेश्चन ये पूछते हैं why glacial acetic acid is called as glacial? What is the meaning of glacial into this term? Because this has to be taught to you by your teachers. Here, glacial acetic acid, because acetic acid is generally having formula CH3COOH. So it may this many a times it is 70% of acetic acid, 30% of water. 90% of acetic acid, 10% of water. If we say glacial acetic acid, it is 100% pure acetic acid or more than 99% pure acetic acid. Completely anhydrous, does not contain water. इसलिए it is not only told for this reason. Let me tell you, glacial acetic acid, not only anhydrous acetic acid, since is void of water, if it does not have moisture, and it can be easily freeze. उसको फ्रीजर में रखोगे तो वो सॉलिडिफाई हो जाएगा नेचुरली, वो तो होना ही है इफ इट इज फ्री फ्रॉम मॉइस्चर, फ्री फ्रॉम वाटर. तो ऐसे वाटर को भी हम फ्रीज में रखे तो आइस तो बनता ही है ना. दिस इज कॉमन सेंस. तो सीधी बात में वी आर टेकिंग दिस ग्लेशियल 100% प्योर एसिटिक एसिड और उसको आप फ्रीज में आइस फ्रीज में रखते हो तो आइस बन जाता है. This ice is glaze type of ice. Glaze is a different word, and that is this GLACE. और ग्लेस का मतलब होता है थ्रेडेड आइस. sharp crystals of ice. You search on Google, ग्लेस, आप ग्लेस लिखो गूगल पे और सर्च करो, and you will come to know what is the meaning of glaze. Okay. And that is basically, glaze is a French word. So that kinds of whatsoever this is observed, eight kinds of ice, crystals of ice. If we take 100% acetic acid and we put it into refrigerator, it will look like ice crystals, although it does not contain water. Okay, so that's why it is called as glacial acetic acid. Fine. ये वाटर को तो रेफ्रिजरेटर में रखते हैं तो आइस बनता ही है, पर एसिडिक ग्लेशियल एसिटिक एसिड में वाटर नहीं है, फिर भी उसको आप रेफ्रिजरेटर करो तो आइस की तरह दिखेगा. So it is majorly called as glacial acetic acid. Okay, I hope that I am able to make you clear the meaning of glacial acetic acid. CH3COOH is also many times written as ACOH. So ACOH is also written for acetic acid. And other name is for this, it is mentioned on the slide, it is called rich solution. Although I am not aware about this, but once after doing this, we'll come to know rich solution as well. Okay, the excess of iodine monochloride, if it is treated with potassium iodide, and then we are treating this iodine with 0.1 molar sodium thiosulfate solution. Starch is an indicator, so that is iodimetry kind of assay, and back reading is A, blank titration is B, and we can have iodine right value. But W is whatever the gram of fat or oil sample we have taken. This is basically iodine. Iodine number is generally measurement of unsaturation in a fat. क्योंकि आप reaction में ही देखो, it is a double bond, it is converted into carbon-carbon single bond. So this double bond, which will allow us things, जैसे if my substance contains 3 double bonds, we will undergo this kind of direct, I mean to say, iodination. जितना भी नंबर ऑफ डबल बॉन्ड ज्यादा होगा, आयोडीनेशन नंबर भी उतना ज्यादा होगा. Okay, so this is the number of grams of iodines which we can measure with the help of this. And it will, another terms, in another words, it will help us to identify the unsaturation number is present in our olefins. So higher the number of carbon-carbon double bond, higher will be the iodine value, and more will be the unsaturation lipids. The unsaturated lipids are more susceptible for rancidity. This is an important term. Unsaturated lipids means oils and fats which are having carbon-carbon double bonds. They are more vulnerable for attack of acids, for attack of bacteria, moisture, air, water. They are more susceptible. So higher the iodine number, higher is the rancidity, and higher is the chances of this attack by bacterial or hydrolytic or this rancidity, oxidative rancidity as well. Okay, so I hope I could make you clear about these 3 definitions. Acid value, milligram number of KOH required to neutralize 1 gram of fat or oil present in the sample. Acid number. KOH, saponification number, milligram number of KOH required to saponify 1 gram of fat or oil. Iodine number. Gram number of iodine required to be titrated with 100 gram of fat or oil. So definitions of these three terms are different from each other. Acid number, higher is the acid number, we cannot eat such fat or oil. This is the significance. Then second one is this saponification number. We can calculate the molecular weight using saponification number. Higher is the saponification number, lower is the molecular weight. Vice versa, higher is the molecular weight, lower is the saponification number. Third, iodine value. Higher is the iodine number, higher is the number of carbon-carbon double bonds. So such fats consist of polyunsaturated fatty acids, which are having more unsaturation in themselves. This is third significance. So this is a three definitions which we want to discuss today. Okay, so we will continue our discussion on coming lectures from this slides onwards. So thank you everyone.